What's up, guys? It's Tosh here, back with another video, and it's a little bit of a different video today. We're actually going to be doing a podcast-like episode, and the only reason I say podcast-like is because it's not like the typical podcast you'd see, like, pretty much from everyone. Like, when you're on Zoom and they have their, like, faces, like, in, like, certain boxes with, like, a fancy background or design. I don't want to do any of that shit yet. So for the most part, it's just gonna be starting off as like casual friends talking about stuff, mainly about like wrestling and basketball. It's a podcast for our interest and just anything we want to talk about truthfully. But the main points that are going to be talked about are basketball and NBA. Not basketball and NBA, basketball and wrestling. Holy shit, let me get it right. But yeah, if you watched my first video since coming back, the gaming collection and room tour video, I spoke on it briefly towards the end of the video. I'm just basically saying that like me and my friends would have been meaning to start a podcast or have been talking about it. I didn't want to give too much away or say too much because there wasn't a lot set in stone, and there still isn't a lot set in stone, but this is a starting point for us, which is actually sitting down and recording and talking about something. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's jump straight into the video. So 2K22, WWE 2K22, confirm things, run down the list real quick.
That shit around the corner.
Yes, sir. That shit is literally like 2 weeks away. It's crazy, bro. Like, I remember when they like delayed it to March, everybody was like, "Damn, bro! Like, we need the game." But at the same time, it's like, take your time, make sure it's fully good. So yeah, let's jump straight in. So the no online GM shit is pretty fucked up.
Shit is nuts, bro. No online mode. What the? I don't even think that's a hard thing to implement, and for them to just not do that, bro, come on, bro.
Right, like.
Are we surprised though? Like I think
honestly,
the idea
bro,
of just
no fucking surprise at all, because they just continuously do this thing where they add something that we want, and it's always missing something. It's always missing something. So that I don't know why, what their problem is. I'm grateful for them to have GM mode, but it's just they always are missing something, bro. Something.
Yeah, it's like every year. It's so weird because it's like you said, it doesn't seem that hard to implement. Like, I remember like, what was the last game that thing was in? I think it was SVR 2011. Literally had a fucking Royal Rumble online. That sounds like hell. But a GM mode, like, you start it up, invite your friend, they load in, and then the draft starts, and then you have money. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It just seems doable.
Yeah, it's like the same shit they got going on in the basketball game, man. Like, they're like the same company. They're not the same people that make the games, but
under the same head. Like, come on.
NBA 2K got this shit going on where you could literally do that. You can draft your players, make your team, and go through a season. Why is it so difficult for them to get ideas from the other brand that their company's producing? I don't understand that at all.
Right, like you said, there's devs, there's different devs for each team, but like they're under the same head. So it only makes sense to pull from your counterpart, which is the basketball game, and like what they do, because their GM mode is crazy in depth. Like there's contracts. I mean, there's contracts in GM mode that they revealed, but like there's the contracts. There's the who you want to draft. There's the what team you want to own. The uniform. Like GM mode could go more in depth than just here's this superstar you signed for however many weeks. You can put him in this match, and after that, it's pretty limited. A lot of the creators have come out on Twitter that went to the events to play the game. They said that it was very limited, which is unfortunate. You can only have two championships, and that's the world's men's championship and the world's women's championship. There's no tag titles or mid card titles, which is.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that just got revealed by one of the people that went to the event today. I forgot who. Hey guys, real quick, I'm in post-edit right now. This wasn't revealed by someone that went to the event to play the game early. It was tweeted out by the SmackDown Hotel on Twitter. Go follow them. They got some news about the GM details and found out that was the only amount of titles you can have. So, yeah. And you can only do one-on-one and two-on-two matches, so there's no Fatal 4-Way or no tag team, which is crazy. But it's like, damn, like, I'm glad there's like it's a starting point. We have GM mode back, but would adding Fatal 4-Way and tag matches, not tag matches, right? Like
What do you mean not tag matches? Yes, they need to add tag team matches too. What?
Like
Tag team matches
literally,
are in the game though, right? You mean
yeah.
tag team titles?
No, like
I mean,
you can only do 1-on-ones and 2-on. I think yeah, you can do tag matches, but
oh,
anything.
you mean like 6-man tags like
Yeah,
that,
yeah, I guess so. That's what they meant when
or
they.
like a Survivor Series type? Yeah, yeah.
So like, if you were to have Survivor Series in your GM mode, like pay-per-view run, like you're doing a fucking 2-on-2 elimination match, like I hope more comes out about that, or they update it, because there's no way that they expect that mode to have a like longevity if you can't do a lot of the shit on there. Like I don't understand that.
Yeah, how are you supposed to replicate being a GM of a WWE brand or even your own brand, and you can't do the shit that you can do in real life? How does that
Right.
make any sense?
It makes no sense. Yeah, it's really weird. Like I said, like if you were to have a Survivor Series on your card, and then you can't book a 6-man match or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and I know
that's
people love Survivor Series the pay per view. Just like Zaire, he loves Survivor Series, and him not being able to book a Survivor Series show is like, Zaire, you want to get into that?
I feel like Survivor Series is definitely that one thing in WWE that's very monumental, especially because it's one of the big fours. So it's interesting when you look at Raw and SmackDown and when they are doing the brand split and having the two brands compete up against each other. But to not be able to have that freedom to do that, I feel like the whole point of having a GM so tailored to one brand is to do that, is to compete against the other brand. And to not be able to do that, it really limits the fun when you are playing the general manager and the person that operates an entire brand. But I think, like we said earlier, are we really surprised? I feel like with 2K, they're going to, we've been begging for this. They're going to give you what you want, but they're going to give you what you want with a little slap. And the slap is, well, you can do it, but here are your limits. And just maybe if you complain about it just enough, we'll slap it into the following year's game. That's even if GM even remains
yeah.
a thing next year.
Yeah, I feel like they give you what you want, and then they just take everything that you wanted out of it. And like you said, it is a good stepping stool for maybe next year, but it's just very, very disappointing because that's kind of the key thing that's appealing about the game, besides gameplay, is the new feature, which is a mode that's coming back, is GM mode. Of course, some people were begging for GM mode. Now they get it and they see what it is. Now they're shitting on it. So it's like, what can you do?
Right. I feel like that's always the case with game modes that like will leave and come back. It's like, yeah, they brought it back, and it's like not necessarily what you expected. And I don't know if there's limitations because it's on the PS5 now. I don't know why a console change would change
Yeah,
anything with a game
why would a
mode.
better console make it more
Make it,
limited?
yeah, make
I
it
don't,
more, yeah.
I,
That
they did that.
that's
They did that with 2K15. They just stripped everything away from the game that made it fun, and
yeah.
then you were just stuck with nothing. And then I think they use that as a way to pump out games every year because they just say that they have new features, and it's just features that we had already, and they're just adding them back. That's not innovation. That's not innovation.
Right. It's weird. Hopefully that gets like elaborated on as the weeks come out. Like as we're recording this, we're 2 weeks away from the release, so there is a lot that maybe is incorrectly confirmed or isn't necessarily confirmed yet. So, but from what has been confirmed from creators from the event that have tweeted out today, like there's only so much you can do with GM mode, which, like I said, for the longevity of the mode, isn't a good look. So, I'm hoping that more can be done with it because no one's going to be playing it long if you can only do so much with it. So, yeah, moving on real quick to the Rey Mysterio showcase matches. I don't know how you guys personally feel about like showcase in general and like playing through it. I know a lot of people love Road to WrestleMania and stuff like that. So, showcase can get kind of repetitive. It's only like once you play through it once, it's like no point in going back again unless you just really like showcase. Be a couple of matches that have been showcased so far and like confirmed. Rey Mysterio with at the 2006 Royal Rumble. Just recently, it was revealed Dolph versus him for the IC title at SummerSlam 2009. There's a match with Kane at I think it was Cyber Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, 2000
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
yeah 2008 or whatever year. But there's a couple
Yeah.
matches announced. How do you guys feel about showcase and just Rey Mysterio showcase specifically this year?
Before I get
I
into specifically Rey's showcase in general. I feel like it's great that we can have a superstar that we highlight basically the whole game over. I think that's a great idea, but I feel like there needs to be probably a multiple showcase, kind of similar, back to the road to WrestleMania. Because I always ask this question: one, how are we picking the superstar? Like, how does a superstar get picked? In the sense of this is the superstar we're focusing on. That we're going to have the viewers sit and play through their entire career. How are the superstars getting kicked off? Which also makes me wonder, like, the pre-order bonus, why isn't the pre-order bonus kind of included within the showcase to kind of give it that more diverse feeling? You're not only playing one story, but you're playing multiple different stories. Specifically with Rey, like, for me, I don't play as Rey Mysterio. And no disrespect to him. He has a legendary career. He's been a he's left an effect on the company, especially being an underdog and being a small person that has had to go through a bunch of bigger people. But he's not one of the people in the company that I've felt like, ooh, Rey, let me watch him, let me play as him. So for me, honestly, like, I respect the man and his career and all that he's done for the company, but it's not, for me, I'm not going to waste my time playing it. It's different, like in the past showcases, which I've actually attempted to play through with, like Daniel Bryan and the Four Horsewomen. Like, I can play through those because I legitimately care for the people I'm playing with, and I'm interested in that career. Rey Mysterio, unfortunately, that's just someone I'm just not I'm not hyped over. And as other players that probably do feel the same way, it's like, okay, now we're missing out on a showcase. So this is where the idea of, like, if they would have put a Taker showcase in there, hell yeah, definitely doing it. Would definitely play through it. Because that's someone I'm actually interested in.
They basically did that already with the Defeat the Streak. They basically had a whole mode about the Undertaker, and if they do a showcase about the Undertaker, it's kind of the same thing. But showcase mode is flawed in the point that it's just it's not replayable. You can't replay it. I feel like showcase isn't a good replacement for Road to WrestleMania. I feel like you could have both, or if it's just going to be one, have it Road to WrestleMania, because it's cool. It's a cool mode for one-time play. I mean, you're not going to play showcase again after you played it already, because you already know what happens because you've watched it in real life, and then you just played through it. You're not going to play through it again.
Yeah, showcase, like you said, one, it's like it doesn't really have that longevity to play through with Road to WrestleMania. Like, I literally can go back into an SVR game and play whatever Road to WrestleMania just due to how unique they were. And I guess you could argue you already know what's happened, and then when you replay them, but they're just more fun to replay. Yeah, especially with the fact that we've already seen it in real life. Road to WrestleMania, you have a unique story that you can play through. That's cool. Like, I always loved Undertaker's, SVR Road to WrestleMania. What was it? SVR 2011. When you take a superstar, your custom superstar, and you play through, and they had like the urn stuff and Paul Bearer, and you had to go collect souls. Just the most like outlandish.
It shows off the creativity of the developers, and I feel like that's what's been missing in the last couple games. 2K20 had the originals pack that showed off the creativity, but I feel like that kind of was downplayed because of how bad 2K20 was.
Right. If it was,
I would love to see the creativity be shown off more.
Definitely, like as wrestling fans, like, yeah, we want a good wrestling game with wrestling in it, but it doesn't hurt to like do things outside the box and try things differently. Like I honestly agree with that. Like with 2K20, like if it was any other game, well, it's hard to say, but if it was any other game than 20 and originals came out, like if that game came out in 2K19, I feel like that would have made the game even better, because 19, for what it's worth, held down the fort until 22 has dropped. People are 3 whole years, bro, and it's not like that game was spectacular either, but it was playable, it was decent. There's loads of content creators on there creating cause and logos and arenas and everything for that game to this day. So stuff like originals and just anything outside of the box of a straightforward showcase, I feel like would definitely help this series for sure. Hopefully they don't have to necessarily return to Road to WrestleMania. They could rename it, revamp it. Just a unique story, I guess, would be interesting to see with real superstars. I guess you could argue that's what My Rise is for. You're taking your superstar into their own unique storyline, but I'd love to play through a, like a, I guess for this example, a Rey Mysterio Road to WrestleMania like we got in SVR 11, or any other superstar on their roster. I feel like that'll be cool and a lot less tricky to do, because with the showcase matches, you have to make sure the superstars are under contract. You can scan them, they're alive. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. Road to WrestleMania, you can literally do that with your current day superstars, but I don't know. That's just our personal take on showcase. It's cool, but
Yeah,
it's
it just
just.
it
I
doesn't
think
do the job.
Did you get a question?
kind
Yeah.
of building off of like what Jason was saying with 2K Showcase, with 2K20, kind of bringing the creativity with the originals package deal that they were going on. That was kind of lacking, and to see that like they brought that creativity back, and then the product kind of just failed, also kind of makes me think that for the first time you had a showcase, two showcases, where one of them highlighted the women, and it was interesting that that was the first time that you've seen the women highlighted as those the four horsewomen, and the product even sucked, because even playing through their showcase, you had a lot of glitches, you had a lot of bad things kind of going on with that. I kind of wonder, kind of seeing you guys' point of view on this, being so that that was the first time that it happened, and a part of me feels like because of the lack of strong product that the women has been putting on, and there hasn't been so much of a revolution going on ever since I think the four of them. So would there ever be another women's showcase, or will there ever be a point where 2K will create a WWE game where the women is either one of the main focuses or they are the focus?
You can go ahead first. You can go ahead first, Jason.
I feel like they could do something like that, but I feel it would be more enjoyable if they just made a story revolving around the women, like them using the creativity to create a women's story, because a lot of the stuff that the women did, it's not really that notable for a 2K showcase. Besides the four horsewomen, maybe you do a Trish showcase, but
Yeah, I was gonna say like
there's
a
a lot
Trish
of
or
stuff that
Lita.
you can't show some of that stuff. So it would be very cut down and bare bones. But another reason why I feel like that showcase in 20 wasn't great is because women have long hair, and the hair physics in
Oh
that
man.
game were very, very bad, and it makes it very noticeable when everybody involved in the story is a woman with long hair. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's
mind a woman's story, but I would prefer for it to be a authentic story rather than something that we've seen, because there's not a lot of things that you can get at and relive history with.
right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like you said, with the Trish and Lita thing, like you could probably do their little feud or a couple matches they've had. Maybe China's run when she was IC champion and fighting guys and stuff. But after that, the whole Divas era kind of it made them look bad, and it's like I don't blame the women for that, because it's just how it was at that time. So yeah, definitely like an original woman story, like a women's road to WrestleMania would be fire. I think the last one we got was SVR 2010. SVR 2010 with Mickey James, and she had Natalia and the whole stalker thing. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, like literally just a unique story with a random superstar on the roster. Get them, have them do some voiceovers, and have whoever they're feuding with in the story. Like I feel like that'll be cool. Definitely.
What I definitely miss, and I think they should actually do, one, I miss when there was more than one star on the cover. Like the SVR 2010, hands down, has to be my favorite cover. I love the intensity with this one, the star power that was on the cover, and just how many of them were on it. And I'm just thinking, like, what if instead of having a showcase focused on one person or a group of people, what if we did a showcase that just went around like a whole point of wrestling entertainment, storytelling? What if we focused on major rivalries and you got to play through the big compilation of rivalries? You look at Randy Orton and John Cena, they went on since they debuted. So what if we had a showcase that one showcase that focused on the both of them probably being on like the cover, and then we had like another showcase that kind of brought in the women, and you went through Trish and Lita's rivalry, you went through Triple H and Shawn Michaels rivalry. You went through Shawn Michaels and Taker rivalry, and you did something like that versus focusing on one star. Because I think I'm wondering what is the power of focusing on one person versus focusing on a group of people in the company. I feel like since what they first started the showcase, where we're starting to just focus on one talent, and that tends to be the cover star. How is that like the difference in the impact versus when you're doing SVR and you're focusing on multiple superstars, and even your creative superstar is getting their own story?
Yeah, with that, yeah, I could definitely agree with that because, like you said, with SVR games, you got multiple superstars, and you got your custom superstar in there as well. Now it's been dwindled down to, I mean, with 2K15, we got a couple of showcases, which is, I guess, an example of what you were saying with like multiple stars having something go on. And in 20, we got the Horsewomen. I guess that's more so focused on them as a collective rather than individually. But yeah, I feel like having multiple stories from multiple people will help the game, and like having multiple cover stars is awesome because like you said, like I love Ray, but I know it's different for everybody. Not everyone's gonna enjoy, having all those Ray attires when they don't really care about Rey Mysterio. Not to say he's bad or anything, but some people just don't. Ray's not their favorite. So that's understandable. I'm a fan of multiple stories, having multiple attires for multiple different people, and just being able to relive those. For sure, I'm pretty sure Jason can attest to that as well.
I love multiple tires, but with the showcase thing and the cover stars, like honestly, the cover doesn't really matter to me. The cover should not be a big focus. Of course, game covers it draws people to the game, but most people are buying the game digitally anyway.
Hmm.
It'd be nice to see more than one person on the game, and for showcases, maybe get rid of them and just go the Road to WrestleMania route and have multiple
Yeah,
stories in there, or even just bring back creative story. Let us create something for once. They took it away from us. How many years ago? 2K14 was that like 8 years ago? Took us away. Why? Why? If they just implement more modes that allows us to play through more content, I feel like the game would be fine.
I feel like WWE 2K has definitely made it so like I've never cared so much about the cover of a video game until WWE, because the cover sets the stage. Because now what WWE 2K has done is that the cover and whoever is on the cover, the game is now revolving around. And now that they did that, now you realize like as soon as a new game comes out, it's always who's on the cover, who's the next cover star, because that's the story you're going to be playing with. And I feel like then the showcase, it has its up and it has its down. I feel like, but it's something that you're taking away from one, just the whole experience of the creativity. I feel like with WWE, the great thing that it was before when it was in SVR was how much freedom you were able to control. I feel like you got to be your own little boss and create your own stories, and you got to play through so many different things. You didn't have so much limitations. With WWE
And that's
2K,
that's what
it's
made
a
it
lot of
so much more
limitations.
playable. That's what made it
Yes.
have replayability. You could get on and create a new story, or even download somebody's story and play through it. I mean, it's just simple things like that they had in the game already that they just chose to take away for no reason. I don't see how what the upside is to having a game that has one mode and it's not replayable. I mean, like even with the career mode, it's cool to play career mode for the first time, but are you going to create another character and play through it again? I don't see myself doing that.
The career mode, I love that you're taking the route of a WWE talent, and you go through the Performance Center, NXT, and the main roster. I'm just wondering, the one thing that I feel like it's missing, it's that longevity in being in the Performance Center and being in NXT. I feel like career mode feels so short and so rushed. I don't really feel the storytelling. I don't even feel the character development that you should be feeling. I don't feel it at all, actually. So I'm curious. Like, what are some things that you would want to? What are some things that would make career mode feel more livable? Like you're actually going through the WWE experience, because that's what the mode is supposed to be. But I feel like it lacks that. You're not really going through the experience as you're like rushing through the whole thing. Like, what are some things that can make it feel like you are going through the actual experience?
I feel like the whole becoming a WWE superstar from nothing, you can only do that so many times, man. And I don't know what they can do to career mode to make it better, because same thing with their other counterpart, WWE, their counterpart 2K, NBA 2K. There's only so many scenarios you can make out of just becoming a superstar and an NBA player. There's only so many things you can do. I think one thing they can do is maybe focus on rivals more, like rivalries with people, have more long-term rivalries with people before coming to the WWE, maybe rivalries in WWE, because career mode kind of feels like you're just chasing a belt, and if you're not chasing a belt, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel like career mode to have career mode happen every year for every game. I mean, I understand why they make it a mode, but I feel like the goal and the mission every single year is the same thing. Become WWE champion, become a Hall of Famer, main event WrestleMania. And I want to become a WWE superstar. This is something that I've wanted to do since I was a kid. It's the same idea every year. It's the same path every year. How do you spice, like, how do you make it different? How do you make it a different experience every year? I really think it needs to be all about, like, changing not only the superstars pathway, but maybe changing certain interactions, adding a little more things. I feel like the inclusion of having more and bigger matches, like the 8-man tag match and the Royal Rumble and the triple threat tag matches, should add on to making your story better, especially when you are on the main roster and you have a little bit more flexibility to have bigger matches. Every year should, I feel like, be focusing on another target, and how do we build the career mode so you're doing more stuff, you're feuding with more people, and you're having long-term feuds that are different than the previous years, because I feel like career mode is so repetitive. It's the same thing. Like this year, am I excited for it? No, because I feel like I'm going to do the same thing that I've done for like the past 3 games now. Like it's not exciting. It's not making me want to play career mode so much. And then to see, I think in 2K20, if I'm not mistaken, 2K20, that it was kind of merging in your female superstar and your male superstar.
Yeah, and that just felt very forced. It's very
That felt very
forced
forced and very weird. I didn't like the fact that they even knew each other. I didn't like that it started all as a high school thing. It did not feel authentic, and it wasn't like, if I was personally creating my own WWE superstar, that is not the route that I want.
Hey guys, real quick, hopping in again post edit. I'm sorry for my mic being so loud. I unmuted it, and you could hear me clicking the mute button and shit every now and then. Zair's mic had an echo throughout the recording, so I decided to just like mute my mic every now and then when he talked. And I had a phone call during us talking, but I didn't want to stop the recording, so I just let them talk about what they talked about. So sorry for like the loud echoes and noise sounds. We're gonna get it fixed for the next episode.
I feel like they should get more out of the people that you have rivalries with, and have it feel like you're in a rivalry with Randy Orton. Have it feel like you're having a rivalry with Bray Wyatt, with Keith Lee, with people like that. Make it feel like you're actually going up to fight that superstar, not just a guy that's in the video game that has a different body type and a different skin color. I feel like the thing that they tried to do with career mode that worked, but it didn't work at the same time, was make it implemented online, where people can come into your career mode, but also the Rise to Glory, I think it's called. That's what it's called.
Oh
right?
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Where you could take your character online, you have these matches, but I feel like you can build onto that more. Have it more interactive. Maybe make it a league with your friends. You have certain people that you match up with, your friends, and people do it all the time. They create WWE leagues, and they have these rankings and champions. Let's have connected career modes. Why not that? Why can't we have connected career modes to make it have another layer on top of your career mode? Make it more competitive, make it more fun, make it replayable.
Right. Like just throw a wrench in there and just mess up like the streamline. Just you play through it, you do the matches, you win the championships, and that's it. Why not? Like you said, like involve other people and everything like that. Like there's a bunch of NBA 2K YouTubers that do my leagues that whether it's on PC or like they'll just upload their my player onto a roster and you download the roster and you can have that other person's character in the league with you and they can play. You can compare points, who's winning. You can go up against them in the playoffs. There's like a bunch of creativity that's yeah. There's a bunch of competitive creativity that's like missing from it. And I understand limitations. I'm not a game dev. I don't know how hard it is to have online this or this mode that. I
I mean,
don't.
they had 3 years, bro.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
had 3 years.
and that's a big thing too. Like 3 years to bring us essentially a half-ass GM. Like, granted, I haven't got my hands on the game yet. A lot of the people that have said it's good. It's just limited. So you're telling me after 3 years, there's limitations to a mode that people have been asking for. I'd say over like 5 to 6 years.
A decade.
Yeah,
A decade.
and it's not like I'm some big GM mode advocate. I'm more so.
Universe mode. For me, I don't mean to cut you off.
It's
But
fine. It's
for
fine.
me, I think universe mode is a lot better than GM mode, but people just like the nostalgia fact. I feel like if you add those factors of GM mode into universe mode, it would be a way better mode. But that's just how I look at things.
Definitely. And Zaire, do you have any top like any opinions on Universe or GM? Like, what's a mode that I guess you would want to return that hasn't returned yet, and how would you go about doing that?
Well, GM mode is the most popular one. It's the one everyone keeps asking for, right? And it's because who doesn't want to be Stephanie or Triple H or Vince McMahon for the whole damn time and run their own show and book the way that they want to book and create these stories? I feel like universe mode though should
The
have,
same
because
thing.
that's the mode they kept. That is a mode that should have always kept evolving, and that's the mode that they should have built off the most. Because I think universe mode, out of everything that WWE has made, besides GM mode, it is their moneymaker. It's the big attraction because you get to play out your own storylines. You have a little bit more interactions. I feel like voiceovers is something that they definitely needed, and they definitely needed probably a little bit more in-depth cutscenes when it comes to the animations when you are creating your rivalries. GM mode, I feel like the only thing with GM mode is it should not be limitless. Like it should not be limited. That's what I meant. You should not limit the amount of power one can do with the show because it's all about embracing the creativity of you through Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and NXT, whichever brand you decide to run. But to not be able to do certain things, like, are you really being a powerful GM? Are you really able to create the show and brand that you want? No, I don't think you are. And I think what would have really done it is if you could have done online GM mode, because it would have gave online players something different to do than just sit and play constant matches back and back and back and back. It gave you something to do, and that would have, honestly, having online GM would have changed a lot of. It would have changed just the aspect of online 2K for WWE in general, especially when it comes to like running leagues and stuff.
All right, so gameplay has seen, has potentially seen a huge, not potentially, it literally has seen a huge change. In a lot of the ringside reports, they've said there's no reversal stocks anymore. There's a dodge and block button, and there's combos now. You can string light attacks and heavy attacks into a grapple, or it's kind of like the striking combo we already have in the game. When you're creating your superstar, you can like select whatever combo you want and like that. But I guess it'll be a little different because they've integrated like grapples with it and stuff. I'm not too sure about it just yet. Hopefully, obviously once we get our hands on the game, we'll be able to dive deeper into it more. But how do you guys feel about the block and dodge, and there's a stun bar and the combos and just everything like that you can really dive into once you're into the gameplay?
No reversal stocks. Well, that's interesting because when they introduced it in the game the first time, for someone that plays WWE competitively, and then even when I am playing for fun with my family and my friends, it definitely brought a different edge of just the match. The match kind of flew in a different way because you have the reversal, the stocks, and it was able to kind of let the balance of control in the match switch between your opponent and you. Now we have a little new element that now we can combo and we can kind of. I think we can we reverse on reversal? Is that a thing now?
I'm pretty sure. I think they said something like that.
Yeah, they still
Yeah, I think
have.
in that.
Oh, sorry. They still have double reversals and stuff like that in the game.
No,
I
they
don't think
said
there's any.
reverse off of a reversal. I'm pretty sure you can do that.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And that alone is what brings the kind of bringing the real WWE experience that the fighters are having, is kind of bringing it now into the game. Because I mean, there's a lot of moments in a match where you can have great moments where you just can not only reverse, giving the other opponent an opportunity to reverse. The reversal limit, it does do something to the flow of the match, especially when both you were like burnt the hell out. So I'm actually quite happy that it's gone. But I just hope that like the flow of the match and the anticipation is still there now that they've added this new system. I just really wonder how is it going to work, especially with one multi-man matches, and it's all of you coming at each other at once. And I think too for wrestlers and players that have been playing this for a very long time, and that's been adjusted to one, like the adjustment moving on and kind of having to change your play style because of now the new function of the game. I really wonder, like, was this a bad decision? Was this a good one? And because we've waited 3 years for a new game, and now we just had this game, can they come back from the gameplay? Because without the gameplay, like the game is nothing. So I just wonder if this is going to be a good idea.
I personally love the new additions to the gameplay because it adds another level of. It makes it more of like a fighting game rather than a wrestling game, and I like that. I like that it's more of a arcadey type game that you can have fun with because I feel like that's what was lacking. Online play, you would just waste somebody's reversal stocks, get them to no reversals, do your finisher, and hope they don't kick out. I feel like this new system with no reversals, it allows people to play more risky and use more skill, and you could see the skill gap while with this new style because you have to guess their combos and you have to basically get used to how your opponent plays. So overall, I like it, but that pin system is.
Yeah, the pin system. Yeah, it's been confirmed that the slow count won't be in the final build of the game, which is awesome because after we saw the gameplay of that, we all were like, "Holy shit, what is that?"
I was referring to how you kick out.
Oh, how you kick out? Yeah. Oh, well, they have the I don't know about online per se yet because like they said.
Never had online options. I don't think.
I hope it's not just one way because like I don't mind button mashing, but I like the old pin combo with like the.
I do like the new submission system though. I think that is an improvement.
Yeah, that seems pretty cool. It's
just you press the button. It's like the one in 2K19 right now where you can go into the menu and switch it to the button mashing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it always starts in the middle and it doesn't. I don't know. I think it might be just because you're damaged, but
right.
From what I saw in the gameplay, it starts in the middle all the time. I like that as an improvement online because it allows you a chance to win. I mean, a chance to get out of the submission rather than turning and losing stamina and shit like that. I feel like it's an improvement.
I just want to come out and say, fuck that submission system. I have never had luck at all with that damn submission system, and I keep getting ridiculed. Like, just look at the, make sure you're the right color. You know you're the right color. Use your stamina. Like, bro, I don't think it takes skill per se to go around in a fucking circle until you submit me. That's just me. Anytime I've applied a submission, I've never been able to submit anyone, and I guess that just goes to show how bad I am at submissions. But yeah, I really like the no reversal stocks and the dodge and the block buttons, and I agree with Zaire to the extent of like, is it going to be a good decision? Because it's crazy because like in the older games like 2K14 for example online, there's obviously no reversal stocks and you can literally just reverse whatever you want and all of that, but the matches back then had good flow to them, so I feel like taking away reversals isn't too much of a big deal because majority of the wrestling games that have released haven't had reversal stocks ever. They added them in 2K16 and had them until 2K20 obviously, so it's not gonna make or break the gameplay. I feel like, and obviously I feel like it'll be a lot more back and forth, with no reversal stocks. It's not just like you guys said, use your reversals, you're out of them, use them or you're out of them kind of thing. So I'm happy about that. And like with the dodge and the block, it's cool to have different ways to, reverse a move rather than just a reversal button. So it'll be cool to see. And then you have the stun bar now, so that's pretty cool. It's just I'm all for the new gameplay additions, truthfully.
So I wonder, I guess this question posed to both of you. What is the level of skill, legitimate, actual skill, that it's going to take to, win the match or win a match? Do you need skill, or is it just a sense of kind of just playing through it? Because I have felt like as we've gotten with more of the games and the gameplay has changed, just the engine of the game has changed, I feel like there's no more skill anymore at this point. There isn't much skill playing anymore. So I just wonder for 2K20, especially again playing on a competitive standpoint, is there any kind of skill required to have to play this game?
I mean, I think I have an argument that there was never skill required, to be honest with you. And it's fine. It's fine that there's no skill required because it's a video game, and it's a wrestling video game. This game doesn't have an esports. This game doesn't have a competitive side. This is a wrestling game, and it's for enjoyment. But it would be, I think it does add a little bit of skill, like with the combo breakers and stuff like that. Just understanding your opponent. That's a little bit of a skill gap. The kicking out, I think it takes away some skill. Submission system, submissions are never really a skill-based
Definitely not.
thing.
Definitely not.
But I feel like the new ways to reverse and the blocking system adds a new dynamic and new skill. The pen system takes that away. So overall, it's about the same skill as it took the years prior. But I just feel like you don't need a skill gap in a wrestling game. It's more about having fun, But people who play the game a lot would like a skill gap, and I feel like you're getting a little bit of a skill gap here.
I agree with that to an extent. I feel like, adding all these different ways to do things does add a little bit of a skill gap because people like casuals that play the game, the first thing they ask is, "Oh, how do you reverse?" And you tell them that one button, but now you can reverse, you can dodge, you can block. There's a lot of different things or different ways you can go about defending your superstar in a sense. And I definitely agree with you on the fact that like a wrestling game doesn't necessarily need to be competitive. Like you want to have a good match with someone and back and forth, but also at the same time you don't want it to be a case of, oh, this person knows all the buttons of everything and you're gonna have a hard time getting offense in. And I'm not saying you should let the other person get offense in to make a match great. It's just all about how you play and how the other person plays. With these new mechanics, the blocking, the dodging, and things like that. It really, you really have to think about what you want to do. And I feel like that alone, having to think, because in previous games, 2K20 for example, you just hop in, the buttons, you punch with this, you reverse with that, and you just go along about your match. But with the combo breaker and the being able to dodge and block certain things, you could go for a move thinking your opponent, oh, he's going to block it, and he actually reverses it and hits you with his finisher, and then that's the match. Like, there's a lot of different ways you can go about things, I feel like. And I'm saying that now without even having played the game, but from the gameplay that's been shown, I can see the different, the variety of things you can do with the dodging and the blocking. Again, like I said, I feel like a wrestling game doesn't need to be too overcomplicated. It doesn't have to be fucking Tekken or Street Fighter, knowing all the buttons and the codes and the whatever, Mortal Kombat type shit. Just, give the player a variety of options to work with and let them find out, what ways work best for them. And you just kind of go from there. I'd hope it's not too much of a skill gap for a casual fan. Like the dev said, they just want people to pick it up and play and have fun with it. So I hope it can be that. A lot of the creators that went to the events and played the game early have said that they had a lot of fun with the controls, and people should really sit when they first get the game and open the tutorial and play the tutorial. Like, it's very important. So I definitely rock with the new controls and hope there's not too much of a skill gap, but also like slightly. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be super duper like competitive and knowing every little thing. Just as long as it's fun and it flows, then I'm all for it. The next topic is one that pisses me off. Fucking one attire slot for cause, dog. Hey guys, me again. Post edit. Really quick, I want to just say I'm a dumbass for this. There's a tweet on the screen that the creator is saying he's gonna only have one attire slot for his cause specifically. He makes cause obviously, so he was more so talking about the logo limit, and I literally only things I saw in that tweet were WWE 2K22 and then one attire. Like those are literally the only words that stuck out to me. When in reality, I'm pretty sure there's going to be two attire slots still. But there is still a logo limit in the game, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But we still do have two attire slots, I'm pretty sure. I just misread and we just talked about a topic that literally doesn't exist for a very long time. So if you hear us talk about like one attire here and there throughout the remainder of the podcast episode, that's on me. Disregard it. You can still have two attire slots, but there is a logo limit still.
The logo limit is the worst thing that has ever happened to WWE 2K. Because there are certain superstars, certain calls that you download that have a lot of logos compared to other ones. Let's say you have 75 calls. You might not be able to download another damn call because the logos. You have too many logos.
Yep. The worst
The logo
pain.
limit is terrible. I mean, we are on next generation, people. We are on PlayStation 5s. We're going to be playing these PS5s until we're 23, until we're 24. And we can't download more than 100 calls. We could download 100 calls on PS3.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Why are we not upgrading and innovating? I hope to see an update. Obviously not in this game, but maybe the next game, more than 100 call slots, because there is a lot more than 100 calls that you should be downloading, and there should be space for you to do that. Because why limit the possibilities of the game? I don't understand that.
With the universe mode this year, the only thing that's really been talked about being added is the ability to play through a whole universe mode cycle or year with a superstar, which is pretty cool. I feel like YouTubers and just people in general have been doing this for a while on their own, just taking a superstar and going through. So hopefully it's not just that. Like you select a superstar, you just go through the basic playthrough. Hopefully there is a lot of integrated cutscenes and cool storylines for your superstar to go through, because it's essentially like season mode. I feel like what it sounds like, you just take your superstar through a pay-per-view cycle. I'm hoping there's cutscenes and things to make it non-repetitive. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel about that one.
Yeah, I feel like the integration of basically a new season mode is great for game replay value. That's a big thing. A thing I'm big on is replay value in this game. Just having fun, being able to create new scenarios, and I feel like adding this sense of a new storyline to play through with a character is great for content and great for just having fun. And I love it. I feel like it will be kind of like a season mode, but of course we'll know when we get the game and when we get more news on it if there are cutscenes and stuff like that. And I really hope they will have those.
So with my faction, it's pretty much just my team or like Ultimate Team from Madden or 2K. You have your cards or collectibles, kind of like Supercard in a sense too. You just kind of get cards of players and you probably just go through, facing them or however it goes. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah, it's like WWE Supercard, but on the console. I feel like it's going to be a very
Very pay
mode.
Yeah. Very pay heavy.
I don't think people will care too much about that one.
Right. And I think with the pre-order bonus you get some of that stuff. I mean, we'll probably look into it just to see what it's about, but we pretty much have an idea of what that is. So I think I can speak for all of us. Like we won't probably be diving into that too much. So yeah.